Very useful from the standpoint that we came from Barcelona after the draw and found out which teams would be in our group. And then we came here to Kiev immediately, and we started to try and organize our exhibition friendly games so we could plan out our practice schedule when we get to July and August. So besides doing that, we worked on all the uniforms, all stuff that you need in preparation to go and compete in the World Championship. So it was a valuable experience. And at the same time, we could see the Ukraine Cup Championship. And it was great because we had 5, 6 of our players that were playing for the 4 teams. And that was good to see them. So a very important week for us. We want to try to see them as often as we can to let them know that we have a strong interest in following what they do during the year. We have offered any help that we can give if a club wants us to do a clinic to help the youth develop, the young people, or to work with the players individually that were on our national team, or any other player they want us to work with. We've made ourselves available to them. So all told, my assistant coaches will come 3 times during this year before we come back for the World Championships. And I think it's important for these players to know that we care about them and we are following their development and progress over the year. We have been putting names together when my assistants came the last time, and we have people here, Dennis, who is on our staff, Slava Medvedenko, who's on our staff, and as they watch and see a player that they think is interesting or has a chance, a possibility to be on our national team, we keep their names down, and then we will have a list eventually. We'll make our invitations, and we may run a little mini camp before the big camp, maybe 2-3 day camp, to see some of these players that they were interesting, but we're not quite sure. So we could do that. We've had, have discussions about a couple different things. So it's important that we get to see all these new players, because it's nice to have young players coming up underneath the other players as they get older. Both of them can play much better than they played, but that's what basketball is about. Basketball is not a game that you can say every day, this guy's going to do this today. You don't know. Some days you go out and you play as hard as you can, and it winds up being one of those days where you can't make a shot, the shot's not going down, you get in early foul trouble, and you have to sit down because of the fouls. So I think they wanted to win, they competed hard, they had some tough calls, tough breaks, but this is the regular season now, and it's the Ukraine Cup. My time comes when that's over with and done, and we have to get ready for the, obviously, the national team. We probably have 10 countries right now that have contacted us and said, maybe more, maybe 12, that have said, we want to play an exhibition game against you. But the same thing has happened with the other 9, 10, 11 teams. And everybody, in trying to work it out, is laying out the schedule to see where you can fit the pieces to make sense. If there's one country that called and said, we want to play you 2 games here, meanwhile, another country already talked to about playing 3 games right in front of it. So it would be 5 straight days of playing 5 straight games. That doesn't help us because there's no practice time. There's no time to get better and work on it. So you have to balance it out. Where you play, days to practice, where you play, days to practice, and that's what we're trying to do. I can't tell very much about them because the first time I've seen so many of them was when they were sitting in the stands today. So, I don't know what to say about how they coach or what they do. I've never seen them. But we wanted them to be able to ask questions if they wanted to. If they didn't understand what I was trying to explain, we wanted to try and help explain it. And the stuff that I talked about and the way that we do things is just one way of doing it. That doesn't mean it's the only way. There are a lot of ways of getting it done. And a lot of ways, a lot of different coaches coach different styles and are successful. But we just try to present to them the way that we do it and how we structure it and the organization of it to stimulate some thinking by the coaches. Two will come back one more time, and then pretty soon it's going to be July, and we'll be ready to start practice second week in July.